It's time to get really excited about books. In this video, I'm going to tell you just some of the books that we are most excited to be publishing within the next 12 months. But this was so hard to narrow down because there are so many good ones. So let us know in the comments if you enjoyed this video, and then we can definitely do another one and tell you about even more brilliant books. So let's start with some summer releases. One of my highest anticipated books of the summer is If I Can't Have You by Charlotte Levin. So I've got a proof copy here and I can't wait to read it. This has been described as Eleanor Oliphant meets you, and it's about a woman who slowly becomes obsessed with this man that she meets. And as part of the promotion for this book, I've got this little checklist here, which I absolutely love. So it goes through, you tick off if you've done these things. And it starts with really relatable things like felt lonely in a new place, had your heart broken, goes through to slightly naughty things we've all done, like stalked your ex on Instagram, possibly even stalked your partner's ex on social media, but as it goes on, the list does get worse, up to keying somebody's car, and the final one, had things end up going very, very wrong. So I think this is going to be a mix of really relatable but really gripping as we watch this woman just make worse and worse decisions. It says on the front here, meet your new obsession. So I think as we watch the main character get obsessed with her man, we are also going to become obsessed with these characters. And then another book I'm really hyped for is Summer Water by Sarah Moss. So I was excited enough about this book just because it is Sarah Moss, but then I read the synopsis and now I just can't wait. This book is set all within 24 hours and I love stories like that. And I'm just going to read the synopsis for you because I think you'll be as excited as I am. On the longest day of the summer, 12 people sit cooped up with their families in a faded Scottish cabin park. The endless rain leaves them with little to do but watch the other residents. Tensions rise and all watch on, unaware of the tragedy that lies ahead as night finally falls. I mean, wow, that has got so many ingredients for a brilliant book with a fantastic author to boot. Okay, now moving on to the autumn, we have The Evening and the Morning by Ken Follett. So this book has been so highly anticipated. This is a prequel to his Kingsbridge series, so this book ends right where The Pillars of the Earth starts. So this book is going to take us all the way back to the end of the Dark Ages, and we follow three very different people's lives and see how they intertwine. So this is the definition of historical epic. And then another highly anticipated return from a beloved author, we have a new book from Christopher Paolini, the author of Eragon. But this time, instead of fantasy, he has written a sci-fi book, To Sleep in a Sea of Stars. And it's going to be a long book too, and you know how much we love long books on book break. So again, I'm just going to read a quick synopsis for you because it sounds great. During a routine survey mission on an uncolonized planet, xenobiologist Kira Navarez finds an alien relic that thrusts her into the wonders and nightmares of first contact. Epic space battles for the fate of humanity take her to the farthest reaches of the galaxy, and in the process transform not only her, but the entire course of history. How excited are you for that? Now, a book that I've shown off a lot on Book Break because I loved it so much is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, and it's getting a sequel. The first book was set in a time-travelling cafe, and the second book, which is called Before the Coffee Gets Cold, Tales from the Cafe, is set back in the same cafe, so we're going to check back in with some of the same characters from the first book, but also meet a bunch of new customers who've come to the cafe for time-travelling reasons of their own. So I've got some descriptions here of some of the characters we're going to meet. The man who goes back to see his best friend who died 22 years ago, the son who was unable to attend his own mother's funeral, the man who went back to see the girl who he could not marry, and the old detective who never gave his wife that gift. I already know from that this one is going to make me cry and smile just as much as the first one. Okay, and finally onto some books coming out early next year. People Like Her by Ellery Lloyd is a book I've been so excited for ever since I read a little sneak peek of it last year, so I cannot wait to read the rest. So this is about a really successful mummy blogger called Emmy Jackson, who's built her whole brand on telling the real, honest truth about motherhood, bad bits and all. So it sounds really relatable, right? People are fed up of seeing other people's perfect lives on Instagram, so now she's here to tell the honest truth about how hard it all is. Except that her life isn't as hard as she makes it sound. So she's built her whole brand on being relatable, but her followers don't know about her huge house and her cleaner. So that really captured my imagination already. It's this kind of flipped version of what we're used to seeing of people trying to make their lives look better on Instagram and she's trying to make hers look worse, but it's also a thriller because somebody out there knows the truth about a lie she once told and is determined to make her pay for it. And then another book that I got to read a little sneak peek of last year and loved is Lustre by Raven Leilani. So this is this really funny, poignant, coming-of-age story about a woman called Edie. So Edie's in this kind of dead-end job she isn't enjoying, she's sleeping with all the wrong people, her life just doesn't feel figured out, and the only thing that she ever did love, painting, she hasn't been pursuing. And then she meets this white middle-aged man called Eric with a wife who has sort of agreed to an open marriage and an adopted black daughter who doesn't have anyone in her life to show her how to do her hair, and Edie ends up getting really sucked into this family. And it says in the synopsis, as if navigating the constantly shifting landscape of sexual and racial politics as a young black woman wasn't already hard enough. From what I read so far, the writing style is so brilliant, so sharply funny, and it's had amazing reviews. So Ling Ma, the author of Severance, called it a beguiling fever dream of a novel, and the amazing Zadie Smith herself described it as brutal and brilliant. And then finally, the last book I'm so excited about, we have The Imposter by Anna Wharton. So this is a psychological thriller about a newspaper archivist called Chloe who comes across a newspaper cutting of a little girl who went missing 25 years ago, and she finds herself becoming obsessed with this story and really moved by the devotion of the little girl's parents who have never given up hope that she'll come back. And then she sees that those parents are advertising for a lodger. So this is going to be a story of obsession and I'm sure uncovering some secrets along the way. It kind of reminded me of that documentary, The Imposter, which was also about a missing child case, which I absolutely loved. So I'm getting those kind of vibes here. I already cannot wait to uncover all of the twists and turns, and I can't believe I have to wait nearly a whole year. So those are some of my most anticipated books. But if you want to hear about some books you can get your hands on right now, we do have a whole playlist of book hauls where we unbox some of the most exciting new releases. So do watch those and let me know in the comments some of your most anticipated books for next year so I can check them out as well. See you next time.